Infrastructure takes on a whole new meaning when you have to go nationwide, doesn't it? That's okay. You still have, see, there's somebody back there who's doing the same thing that you're doing, so it works out well. So you did network. All right, so. Okay, yes. Okay, great. So I want to go back, since we're talking about infrastructure problems, the fiber issue. I got a question, I guess, for those of you in here. You put new fiber in, do you have to take the old fiber out?
Well, the original fiber was laid out 30 years ago.
Okay.
They never considered, what they did was they did a home run to every building. So instead of branching off and putting access to every building from the conduits, they ran directly through the buildings. So the conduits are full.
Oh,
So
got it.
you have to do it in a section at a time now because you cannot fit anything else in the conduit.
Because the conduits are full. Okay, that makes.
You never thought of making the conduit in the street or splice or repair the fiber.
Welcome to the four of you in the back rows over there. You guys want to introduce yourselves and tell us what you expect to get out of this session? Well,
My name is Robert. I'm a network analyst for STC College, and I'm here just to get a better idea of what's going on in our university.
that works. All right. Same thing. Ditto. I like that.
Dave Baylor from the University of Louisville School of Medicine. I'm in charge of classroom technology at the school.
Okay.
Dave Gardner, I'm the director of technology at the School of Medicine, UofL, and I'm misunderstood networking network. It's a coffee and networking network.
Join the crowd. There's a few others who are in the same boat here, you know. But so it's I guess it's talking more about network and infrastructure and that sort of stuff. But there are a few people who want to network, so at least we can increase your. And there's a couple other IT directors in here as well. So now that we just get the guy coming in the door, we can say, okay, hey, you want to introduce yourself since we're in the middle of doing that? That's okay. Okay, and what did you hope to get out of this session? Was it more networking? There we go. All right, so you're in the right place too. We do have a couple of a few instructional technology focused guys. We've got these two right here and the new person from the University of Louisville. So cool, look at there. You guys could like go off in a corner if you want to talk, or we can just keep talking. But at least if nothing else, you're meeting new people. So I guess my big thing here is, since it is supposed to be infrastructure, let's go there first. What's the biggest infrastructure challenge that you're facing? Wireless. Keeping up with the wireless?
Keeping it accessible for students, faculty, and staff throughout the campus.
Okay. That makes it a little bit more difficult when you're not in charge of it, doesn't it? So wait, didn't I just hear that you were like the director of IT? No, okay. Oh darn. Well, that does make a little bit of a problem then, doesn't it? Okay, okay, there we go. Any suggestions for somebody who's working for the College of Education, and you guys back there from Louisville and the College of Medicine, and then the central IT doesn't do what they're supposed to do? Never mind.
I think that's probably an ongoing theme. One of the biggest things we're hitting is you guys doing the best we can with what he's got.
You guys over there laughing, so you've experienced that?
Well, the biggest problem is also saving and retaining the data. Nobody wants to pay for storage. They all want the lectures captured, they all want this, but nobody wants to pay for it.
So speaking of data and capturing data and storage, what do you do with like Microsoft Office 365 or with the OneDrive or Dropbox or all these other stuff? How do you manage the data that you know users have up there in the cloud, but yet you have no control over it? Do what?
They just sign it away.
So we've gone from infrastructure to end users. How do you educate end users? Or is it a losing battle?
It's not a losing battle,
It's a constant battle. Okay. And what type of subject? What do you need to educate the users on? What kind of subjects?
Usually we do the virtual law in California, give them a little class, you might say, or security, or the rotated
Under the keyboard. That's a nice place today.
Does anybody ever use what's it,
LastPass.
I use one password. It's great. I hope I don't get hacked.
You did once, a month ago.
LastPass, which was, I know that everybody was using that a lot, just got hacked recently. So, at some point in time, does everything get hacked? It's not a matter of when, it's just a matter, not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when.
Got a double encrypted going into an encrypted Dropbox, so, I mean,
I don't think they broke anything, I know they did get back, but I don't know exactly what happened.
All right, so especially those of you who are new coming in, I'm not going to make you introduce yourself like everybody else did. Aren't you lucky? Burning issues that you guys, anybody have a burning issue, another burning issue since we've kind of exhausted that one, that's bothering you, or anything that what's the biggest headache you're having right now?
trying to handle identity management going into a portfolio platform, TaskStream, through Shiplet or Sakai, using LTI.
Okay,
Anybody ever experienced this?
can somebody interpret that for me? No. Anybody doing anything similar to what he just said? Did everybody hear what he said?
Does anyone do identity management at all, where you have your students have one password to reach all? Okay.
Are you getting successful platform?
Yes, we are. This
No, they got it out of my-
portfolio platform uses LTI and
It's all right. NSA.
it's
NSA's already got it.
they're making us create a web service to track our student class enrollments because their import tool is lacking.
So they're pound
They're sort of.
I was gonna say, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, if you're fully compliant with these standards,
I don't think they are.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're complying with those standards for other platforms, but for some reason.
Different systems, different interfaces, different everything. This is at our NC State down, I mean, that was, but I don't think ours is any better. And from what I've seen, interacting with a variety of other institutions, nobody has, it not only is it a different login, it's a different interface, you're logging here, there, it's different. Everything is different. I think we need to, I'm coming from college, so I can tell you that every day I am dealing with students who just become totally overwhelmed. There's the cognitive overload to have to go to all these different systems that all look very different. And some of them are might be user-friendly, but by the time you put 10 of them in a row, it's not user-friendly.
you have a single password, username and password for 70 some odd systems, and that's pretty good.
Well, we do, but you may have to sit there and enter it every single time in a different way.
Exactly, yeah, and, yeah, that's,
It's not pulling a single profile that then opens up and you access to, then you just.
right, yeah, having a portal system on the front end that actually logs into everything, we don't have that either, so I.
And even then I would argue that as soon as you have to move it, each one of them is very different, and a menu here, no, we don't have a menu here, and, you know, and they barely know how to use this, except for texting and Snapchatting. So as soon as you start.
Wait, you mean that our students are not technology, I mean, they don't understand it all?
The bulk are not.
I was going to say, but more and more of our students know all this stuff they need to know about technology, right? But the reality is they don't come prepared for technology, on our campuses.
They know how to use technology when it's done right.
Yeah.
Colleges and universities don't really do technology very well. I mean, it's just the truth. We don't do it as well as we do. They're all using 14 social networks like that, and they have no trouble with it. Why can't we make our systems that blue? That's really, well,
Do we just say we're not Facebook?
the thing is, we do have the money. Here's one of the issues we have, even in our own university, every college is coming up with their own solution. Every one of your universities is coming up with their own solution. If there's 2 or 3 big winners in some of these areas, where we all just, the problem is we all think we're special. I mean, it's kind of, I came from the private sector. You get to universities, and everybody thinks, well, we're special. We do our things a little bit different. And and there's something to be said for that. There really is. And how do you balance that with, giving up some of that independence to be in a more common and more user-friendly platform?
Alrighty, other burning issues. Something everybody else that you're struggling with that you might want to share or get answers on. Related infrastructure in particular. No? Okay, so we want to talk about networking. How do you network effectively? Since that is the topic. No, anyway. What we figured out for those of you coming in who missed this earlier is that, when I looked at the topic, I'm thinking networkers, or what is it called, networkers. Yeah, so I'm thinking, hey, that's talking about networking and getting to know other people. Well, no, that's not the topic. Obviously, it has to do with infrastructure and programming and applications and stuff like that instead. So we can still do both. At least that's why I had you introduce yourself now. You've met somebody else new. Anyway, such is life. But I do hope from a networking perspective that you will take advantage of folks that you're sitting next to at the conferences and meet new people and get to know others. So anyway, all right. We've talked about wireless. We've talked about fiber a little bit. We've talked about identity management. Okay, passwords. Back to passwords. I have a question for you. So how often do you change your password?
We don't have any requirements at all to change the password.
So that's the institution I'm at right now. That's exactly what they did. We're getting ready to change that. But now my ISO is going, we've never had an ISO, and I just appointed one. She's saying, well, can't they never change their password? And I'm like, well, wait a minute, that just doesn't work, So is anybody doing the never change your password once you set up a good, strong, complex one? Because right now it's 4 characters. Okay, that's a little too extreme. Would you agree? Every 30 days. Okay. 90 days, I hear.
6 months.
We don't have
Which I think is hysterical. I'll just put that out there that I can use something like
Our state auditors say we don't do it at least once a semester to write us up.
We get audited every year.
So what are the auditors saying for password changes? Are they?
Based on the laws recommended for 60 days.
Okay.
Any part of your name, college name, has to be 8 characters, special characters.
The complexity.
Complexity. A whole bunch of, can't use the last 6. So there's a whole bunch of rules that
We were going, you can't use the last 12. Finally we're changing passwords at Forte State. Like I said, they've been 4-digit passwords. Actually, they assign you a password, and it's like the last 4 digits of your, I don't know if it's your ID number or what, but, and then your initials. So the president has not ever changed hers. She's been there a year now. And I happen to be her personal tech support, as you can well imagine. So I mean, I know her password, and it's just memorized. And then I've been, I reset her iPhone the other day, and it's a different password. I can't remember that. And then we did a Prezi account for her, and I couldn't remember that because she wanted me to go in and change something. It's a good thing I can't remember passwords, but I can remember her password to the system. Now, is that a good thing? I don't think so. At least she's a friend, and she trusts me, thank goodness. But I can go. I happen to live with a friend in Hayes, and the only friend I have right now is the president. So I'm living in the basement apartment, and I might need to print or I might need to do something. So I'll go upstairs to the computer and turn. I use lady's computer, and there's all her mail and everything else. It's a good thing she trusts me, isn't it? So just those little things that are just, to me, that you shouldn't be doing that. But here's the other thing, too. So our wireless, talk about wireless. Go back to wireless a second.
The wireless has a standard password, and it's
Yeah.
not open, but it does not connect to the actual network of accounts.
The wireless has a standard password, but it doesn't connect to the...
It does not connect, have anything to do with the actual wired network portion of it. So they can't access any resources from that wireless, which is a problem for students and faculty in some cases.
Goes back to our Active Directory, unless, of course, we dedicate devices. College devices that are assigned to people with Mac authentication. Students, when they log on, they get that initial screen where they have to enter their network password and it's good for their sessions.
What about certificates with wireless? Is anybody doing that? Anybody heard of that?
We do certificates. We do it on the cheap and had several problems over the years with it, where the certificate would expire or there'd be a problem with it. They've got it pretty stable right now. I guess we're a little advanced on that. I mean, our central IT, I think they keep track of this, but they have a good Cisco infrastructure in place. The only weird thing is we've got a secure wireless network, which is your standard authentication to our one login. And then they've got one called UL Open, which isn't open, it gives you the ability to sponsor a wireless account that's semi-secure for vendors and that sort of thing. And then we've got one called Visitor, which is completely VLAN'd off from everything, that just basically lets you out to the internet. And that one doesn't require anything and works what, 50, 60%? It works on 480 and 443. That's it. Yeah, email. Yeah, you can't, yeah, it's.
We just implemented their test. They had a lot of problems. Gaming and conferences and most students, everything account. And they're allowed to register 3 gaming devices. So we have a total of 6 devices on the wireless. So it takes care of most of our issues with wireless. Plus we can guest accounts on the fly. That's cool. Yeah, that's pretty good.
What do people plan for wireless? I know our team's planning 3 devices per individual in a room. So if a room seats 100 people, we're trying to put a depth of coverage in of 300 devices today.
Let's find out how many people have one device. Well, everybody has one device, I'm guessing. How many people have 2 devices with them today, right now? What about 3 devices? 4 devices? Look at there. How many do you have?
Oh, not one.
I mean,
Yeah,
kind of
no,
the
no.
headphones, I've got 4.
Yeah. So there you go. So maybe 3 is about right. You know, it seems like, because we had somebody with 4 and a couple with just 2, and a couple with 1. So probably everybody has their phone with them, and then maybe a tablet. And then if you have more, then you get the geek and the Apple Watch and all the other watches and everything else too, right? Okay. All right. Other burning issues. What about application development? Anybody control application development in your area, and any problems there? Are you developing? Is your institution developing applications for your ERP and for other stuff, or is it all off the shelf?
Our application supports Specialist supports Blackboard and standard application development.
Cool. All right. What else is up there? Interact skill pack. Here we go. Skills. How do you keep yourself? How do you keep your staff current? All right, Microsoft Academy, there's one, and those kind of classes. What about other stuff? Well, this is a big area because this thing changes so quickly. And you're putting in new wireless access points, or you're putting in a new network design, or your identity management, anything we've talked about. How do you keep your staff current? And if you,
Online courses and some convention or things like this.
what about conferences? How many conferences do people go? I mean, obviously you're all here, but what about others in your organization? Do they attend conferences? Budget cuts hitting everybody?
First conference in 15 years I was out.
Wow. Okay. So that's going to become really important, is keeping staff current. So can you use vendors and have vendors come in and do sessions for you. I mean, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but, and then people who do go to conferences, how do you get them out? I mean, how do you get that knowledge back that they gained?
Like a show and tell